What's up, guys? Welcome and welcome back to the channel. Edge of Fate is here, and I have another hunter build for you. So melees got buffed in the Edge of Fate on how they work and their damage and everything. So I was looking for something that was gonna take advantage of that and keep me alive. And you may know where I'm going with this already. Now I'm not talking about Sarachne Immos Light with Prismatic. Now that build is potent, but I found that while I was using it, the damage resistance from Sarachne wasn't enough. I wasn't having enough DR. I wasn't healing. I was just still dying in higher end content. So I went back to Unreliable. I went back to Liar's Handshake, and this thing is insane. I went into Fabled Kepler, which is power level 150, at power level 125, so about minus 25. And as you'll see here, I was able to just go around and chain everything. 1-2 punch shotgun in my hands. I had Liar's Handshake, combination blow, and it was healing me. I was doing damage, and it was fantastic. I was able to just stay alive, put out good damage. And honestly, it didn't feel like I was hurting for any ammo too much. If I use my shotgun too much, I just swap to my primary and roll around. Now, there are some things with this build that are working together, so let's go over those here right now. All right, here we are in game, and this is the build that you're going to want to use. Now we have Liar's Handshake, and if you don't know what Liar's does, I'll read it for you here. Using your arc melee ability or being hit with the melee attack will allow you to follow up with an extremely powerful melee counterpunch that will heal you. Now we're going to put this together with our Prismatic subclass. You will know this because it's going to be similar to the Sarachne Immos Light build. You're going to want to run Combination Blow because it's the arc melee you're going to be taking advantage of with Liars. You're going to have Grapple here because not only are you going to want to grapple around for movement, but the grapple melee also does good damage. You're going to want Stylus Executioner, so you go Invis whenever you hit something that's affected by any sort of debuff. And Ascension. You're going to want to use Ascension here because it'll allow you to go airborne to get out of the way of enemies. It's going to jolt everything around you when you use this ability, and it's going to amplify you. Now, something that is happening right now that is extremely good and making Ascension the ability you want to use is that since Ascension uses your dodge ability, it activates whatever dodge you have. So activating Gambler's dodge, you'll get your melee back after you've used it. This allows you to chain in between when you don't have your melee, and you can use Ascension to activate your dodge so you get your melee back, and you can continue to defeat targets because this grants class ability energy when you defeat a target with it. So you'll get your dodge back when you start defeating enemies with your punch, which you can use Ascension to get your punch back. You can punch to get your dodge back, then use Ascension to get your punch back. And you see the rotation I'm getting at here. Now let's take a look at our fragments. Fragments, you want Facet of Dawn, so you get Radiant. You're going to want Facet of Purpose because you're going to want this for something in the artifact that you'll see in a little bit. So picking up an Overpower will grant you Bolt Charge, Restoration, Frost Armor, Woven Mail, or an Overshield based off what super you're using. Devotion, so defeating targets afflicted by stasis or strand debuffs grant bonus light transcendence energy. And you're going to want Facet of Awakening. Rapidly defeating targets with light or darkness damage or super final blows generate an elemental pickup of the matching damage type. So, rapidly defeating targets with light and darkness or super final blows, you're going to create that elemental pickup. As you can see over here, you're going to create Ionic Traces because you're going to be using your punch a lot. And you're going to be creating Tangles because you're going to have your grapple melee. Now, why am I using Silk Strike? You may be wondering, because it's not very good in boss damage. It's kind of okay when you're dealing with ads. Why am I using Silk Strike? Well, if we go take a look at our artifact over here, you're going to see this little perk. Tightly woven. When woven mail is active, gain increased class ability and grenade stats. So every time you generate an orb, you're going to pick it up with faceted purpose, and it's going to get you woven mail, which is going to increase your grenade stat and your ability. So you'll be able to grapple melee more, and you'll get your ability back faster, allowing you to use Ascension more often to get your punch back more often. That's why we're running Silk Strike. It's so we get woven mail, and honestly, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay using woven mail, not woven mail, Silk Strike, because you're gonna have your class ability up a lot in that super, so you'll still be able to use your Ascension anyway in that super. Now, since we're using Silk Strike and we're using Facet of Awakening with Grapple, we're gonna take advantage of destroying tangle of Threaded Blast. Destroying a tangle with strand damage increases the radius of the explosion and damage. So if we create any tangles and grapple melee or anything like that, we'll get this. Now, something that I don't have yet that will be important is these last column perks. So the ones that I'm specifically talking about are these two top ones. It's for this build in particular. So Shield Crush is important. It reads, while you have Woven Mail, Frost Armor, or Void Overshield, your melee recharges faster and deals increased damage. So we're already going to be doing increased damage with Combination Bow and Liar's Handshake. But every orb we get, we're going to get Woven Mail, proccing the Tightly Woven perk, and proccing this perk. So it's going to make our melee do even more damage. Now, what about the other side? What about our grenade? What about amplified? All that stuff. Well, Ascension makes you amplified, right? So our grenade will do increased damage. But also we have Fever and Chill and running a solar secondary, or primary, I should say, so that we are also radiant when we need to be. All of this is going to work together and make all of this. You're gonna be radiant constantly. You're gonna be amplified constantly. You're gonna be putting out arc damage, darkness damage, getting transcendent. It all works extremely well. Here's Radiant Shrapnel. Dealing sustained weapon damage while radiant or defeating a scorched command with a weapon causes the target to release solar projectiles that deal damage and scorch on impact. So not only are you going to be getting radiant from your melee kills because of Facet of Dawn, I think it is, you're also going to be radiant from using a solar primary and Fever and Chill. So you're going to be radiant from those two things. So you're going to be proccing Radiant Shrapnel once you have it. You're also going to be getting benefits from your grenade, from Shield Crush, and every orb you pick up, you'll get Woven Mail. So you'll activate the top part of this Shield Crush to increase your melee damage, and you'll get more grenade and class ability stats with Tightly Woven. And all of that together is going to go crazy. Right now, I don't have these two last perks unlocked, and this build already feels very potent and works very well. Once I have Radiant Shrapnel dealing damage everywhere to everything, and I'm doing more melee damage and more grenade damage, I can't imagine this build being much. It's going to go insane. So what about our stats? Now, the stats in Edge of Fate are very important because they do very important things. For this particular build, you're going to want as much melee energy as you can get because you want your cooldown, 1, to be very low. But 2, you want that damage buff since you're going to be doing a lot of melee damage. So I have mine at 140 right now. I'm hoping to reach 200. As you can see, I have a 12% PvE buff to my melee damage right now with a 20-second cooldown. So I have 12% here. I'm going to get a cross counter from extra damage from Liar's Handshake. I have a 1-2 punch shotgun, so I get damage there. Then I'll have Shield Crush with Woven Mail, so I'll get damage on top of that. Needless to say, you're stacking a lot of damage here, and your punch is going to really hurt. Next, you're going to want to do Grenade because you are going to be grapple meleeing around. So it's going to be good to have as much grenade cooldown as you can get. And then for me, I want health. I think health is going to be very important here because do I want health? Okay, so when it comes to stats, you're going to want your melee stat as high as you can get it because as you can see, I have a 12% PvE buff with a 20-second cooldown, and you're going to be using your melee a lot. You're going to get not only this 12% buff or whatever percent you can reach, you're also going to get a buff from Liar's Handshake, you're going to get a buff from a 1-2 punch shotgun, and you're going to get a buff from Shield Crush in the artifact. So your punch is going to hit very, very hard. Then you're going to want, in my opinion, health. I think having a high health stat is going to help you out a lot. Not you are going to be getting a lot of health from Liar's Handshake, helping you stay alive. But as you take on the higher end content, you're gonna want to get more health from the orbs you're gonna be making, especially if you're getting run down by everything around you. So every orb you make not only will heal you, but also your Liar's Handshake will also heal you, and you'll have a higher health pool. I think that everybody is kind of ignoring health right now. For me, I think it is going to be helpful. If you don't want to do health, do melee, grenade, and then I would say something even like class ability here, or even weapons, because you are going to be using 1-2 punch shotgun. So if you boost your weapons, your shotgun will do more damage, plus your punch, it's going to work out. So I'd say for me, I need to farm armor right now, but I'm going to run for melee health weapons probably is what I would do, or melee weapons in class with as much grenade as you can get and as much health as you can get after that. Definitely melee first, and then you can build it however you want. Really, it's up to you when it comes to your stats, but you really want your melee stat to be the highest thing here. Like I said, 1-2 punch shotgun. I chose Swordbreaker because I just enjoy it. I threw Pugilist on here. Final blows to the weapon generate improved melee energy. Dealing melee damage briefly improves its weapon handling. And 1-2 punch, I just built into the melee damage. I have a solar primary. Now this is the one I'm using right now. I don't know if it's going to be the one I use in the future, but I do like this auto rifle. So I probably will be using this auto rifle, just maybe a different role. But this one has proximity power. When targets are nearby, final blows grant an improved amount of bonus melee stat. So my melee stat goes even higher. And then Swashbuckler. This weapon gains increased damage for an improved duration for melee final blows and defeating targets with his weapon. So again, building into that melee kind of build. And that's really built. That's two weapons that build into that. And then finally, Dragon's Breath. Just because I like Dragon's Breath and it does good passive damage. I can shoot it at a boss, run around while it's doing damage to the said boss. Something that you may want to change here is glaives take melee stack as a melee damage now. They're not like weapon damage. So if you have Winter's Bite, I haven't tried it out, but that could be something that you want to use because you're building into all of this melee stuff. But really, your heavy is really up to you. Whatever you want to use on that side is up to you. Lastly, our mods here. Hey guys, Editing Jay here. I didn't realize till right now the reason why I have such little mods. I went and got a new pair of Liar's Handshake gloves when I was making this build. So that's why I have such little mods. Make sure you throw on heavy handed to get orbs off of your melee kills, and build towards anything that's going to give you melee energy, stuff that gives you health when you roll. I think I show it here on my cloak. You want to put on the Reaper and then the mod where you roll around, you use your class ability and it picks up all the orbs around you. If it if I show it, it'll show right now. I just wanted to let you know that that's why it's so empty, and I'm just gonna skip this part unless it's something that you should definitely see. What you want to do here, though, for me, I want to run Reaper with powerful attraction, so that you get your you spawn more orbs, one, and then you pick them up without having to go get them. Actually, you can, when you ascend, you can actually get all of that because you'll be using your class ability. You can get all the orbs around you, and that's pretty much it. That's the build. It works. You've used this before. Everything changed together. It's really, really simple. As you saw in the footage before, I'll play it again now. That 25 under, running around, just destroying targets and staying alive. This build is exactly what you want out of a 1-2 punch build, a prismatic punch build, and it is extremely fun. If you're having trouble, if you're using Sarachne in Most Light and you're having trouble staying alive, or you're having trouble killing things, definitely give Liar's Handshake a try. It's going to be my choice over Sarachne in Most Light Exotic Cloak. Anyway, that's it for the video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, and if you want to catch me live, I stream over on Twitch. You can find the link in the description. Check me out. We're streaming Destiny all week. We're going to be power grinding. We're going to be running the raid. So go check it out, and I'll catch you in the next one.